strange knock in the snow. The night was cold. Snow covered everything on planet V9. Wind howled like a sad wolf. Inside the human military base, most soldiers were asleep. Only a few were awake, guarding the walls. Private Sam was one of them. He stood near the front gate holding his blaster. His face was half frozen, and his boots crunched softly in the snow. Suddenly, knock, knock, knock. A soft sound came from the metal door. Sam froze. "Is someone out there?" he whispered. No one was supposed to be here. This planet was abandoned. No humans. No aliens. Only the base. He walked to the door, heart beating faster. Knock, knock. Again soft and weak. He looked through the small camera outside. What he saw made his eyes go wide. There was a figure. No, two figures. One tall, one small. They were not human. They looked alien. The taller one was a woman, wrapped in torn clothes. She was barefoot in the snow. Her skin was light purple, and her arms were thin. Her face looked tired and scared. Beside her was a child, maybe 5 or 6 years old, holding her hand, shivering. Sam called his commander. "Sir, you need to see this." Commander Harris arrived in minutes. A strong, older man with a robotic arm. He stared at the screen. "They're freezing," Sam said. "They're not armed. Should we help them?" The commander didn't speak for a moment. Then he gave the order. "Open the door, but stay sharp." The door slid open with a loud hiss. Cold wind rushed inside. The alien woman stepped in slowly, carrying her child. Her lips were blue, her eyes wide and full of fear. She looked at the humans. We just want a warm meal," she said in broken English. "Please." Everyone was silent. She was speaking their language, not perfect but clear enough. A few soldiers raised their weapons. Commander Harris raised his hand. "No," he said. "Lower your weapons. Let them in." They gave the aliens a blanket. The girl curled up next to a heater, shaking. The mother kept looking around, as if she expected someone to attack. "What's your name?" the commander asked. She looked at him, then down. "Lura," she said softly. "This is my daughter. Name is Nia. How did you find this place?" "We were hiding. Long time. Then we saw the light from your tower. We walked for many nights." The commander narrowed his eyes. "From where?" Lura didn't answer. She looked away. That night, the base felt different. Soldiers whispered among themselves. "Can we trust them? What if it's a trick? Why are they really here?" Sam sat near the little girl. She was quiet, but her eyes were watching everything. She touched the heater with her fingers. Then she touched a metal box next to it, like she understood it. "You've seen machines before?" Sam asked gently. The girl just nodded. Later, Lura was taken to a small room for questions. Commander Harris sat across from her. "You speak our language." "How?" She answered. "My people, we were part of a peace mission. Long ago, we learned your words." "What happened to that mission?" She paused. "It failed." Her hands shook. She looked tired, broken. "We lost everything," she said. "Why come here?" She looked him in the eyes. "My daughter is not safe out there. We are hunted. I have no weapon, no plan, only a hungry child." Commander Harris believed part of her story, but not all. He called his top tech officer. "Scan her for any hidden tech, any tracking devices." They agreed to keep Lura and her daughter in a locked room for the night, warm, fed, and watched by cameras. At midnight, something strange happened. The little girl stood up. She walked to a wall and drew something with her finger in the dust. It was not a child's drawing. It was a symbol, perfect shape. It looked like ancient alien tech. The camera zoomed in. Commander Harris watched from his office. His face turned pale. "What are you, little girl?" he whispered. The morning after the storm was quiet. Snow was still falling outside the human base. Soldiers moved carefully. The air was colder than yesterday, but inside, something colder was growing. A strange fear. The alien mother, Lura, and her daughter, Nia, were still in the holding room. Warm now, federal, but watched. Cameras recorded their every move. And Commander Harris didn't stop watching. But it was the little girl who made him nervous. Not the mother. The girl. In the control room, Private Sam rewound the video from last night. There, he said, pointing to the screen. The footage showed Nia standing in the dark, drawing something on the wall with her tiny finger. A strange symbol. A glowing curve inside a triangle. Sharp, perfect lines. That's not a random shape, Sam whispered. Tech Officer Lane zoomed in. It looks like an activation code. Old alien tech, she said. But she drew it from memory? The commander folded his arms. She's 5. Meanwhile, in the holding room, Nia sat alone. Silent. Watching. Not playing. Not smiling. Just watching. She stared at the wires in the wall. At the blinking red light on the camera. At the metal door's lock. Like she understood it all. Lura sat beside her, combing her daughter's hair gently with her fingers. Her hands still shook from cold and fear. A soldier brought them breakfast. A hot drink, some protein bread, and soup. As he turned to leave, Nia looked up at him, eyes wide, glowing slightly violet. Thank you, she said in clear English. The soldier froze. You speak. The girl blinked, then looked down. Later that day, Commander Harris ordered a test. We're bringing them to the lab, he said. Why? Sam asked. I want to see how the girl reacts to our systems. You think she's a spy? I think she's not ordinary. In the lab, machines hummed. Screens flashed. The air smelled like cold metal and old wires. Nia stood in the middle of the room, looking around slowly. One screen showed a broken interface. A panel that hadn't worked in years. Nia walked toward it. Don't touch that, a tech officer warned. But she already had. Her small hand pressed one button. Then another. Beep. Click. Whir. The dead screen flickered. Then it came alive. The room went silent. She stepped back. The screen showed strange text. Not human language. Not even alien records they knew. It was something else. Ancient. What did she do? A soldier whispered. She activated it, Lane said. It hasn't worked since we landed on this planet. The commander looked at Lura. You lied. She's not normal. Lura's voice was low. She was born during the war. Born with connection. Not made by us. Not made by anyone. Nia was taken back to the holding room, but now with tighter security. The door had 2 guards. The cameras had full zoom on her. But that night, she looked directly into the camera and whispered something. No one heard it, but the feed glitched. Static danced across the screen. For 5 seconds, all cameras in the base blinked black. When the video returned, Nia was still sitting, still quiet, still staring. But now, the heater was glowing hotter, warmer than before, even though no one touched it. Private Sam saw it. She's talking to machines, he said slowly. Not with words. With her eyes, Lane asked. With her mind, the commander replied. In his private office, Commander Harris opened a file, an old one from a secret archive. Project Haven. It showed sketches of alien-human hybrids. The report said, if successful, the child may interface with both biological and digital life. A living bridge. He looked at the picture. It looked like Nia, a test subject never found. That night, Nia sat beside her mother. She whispered something in her native tongue. Lura nodded, eyes full of pain. Outside, soldiers argued. She's dangerous. She's just a kid. She fixed our systems. Maybe she can help. Or destroy us. Commander Harris walked past them without a word. He opened the door. He sat down in front of Nia. Eye to eye. What are you? He asked softly. Nia's eyes glowed again. Not bright, just alive. She pointed to her chest. I'm hungry, she said. Then she pointed to the machine in the wall. But they are hungrier. The snow didn't stop. It fell like ash over the metal roofs of the human base, silent and endless. Inside, nothing felt silent anymore. The alien girl, Nia, had spoken to machines without words, and now, the base was no longer normal. Doors glitched, lights flickered, systems rebooted without command. No alarms, no attacks, just strange energy, like something had woken up. Commander Harris called a meeting. The soldiers sat around the war table, nervous. Private Sam stood near the screen. He pointed to the camera footage. Nia looked straight at this panel, he said, and the old reactor interface came back online. And? A soldier asked. Sam clicked the next slide. The reactor system showed a code, hidden inside a maintenance log. Everyone leaned in. It was not a normal code. It was a message, deep in the data layers, visible only for a few seconds before vanishing. It said, "The weapon is not what you think." The room went quiet. "What weapon?" one soldier asked. The commander stared at the screen. "That's the question." Later, in the medbay, Lura sat with her arms strapped to a scanner. Her face was calm, but her eyes tired. Dr. Kell inserted a thin needle under her skin. Just beneath the surface, they found something. A small chip. No wires. No power source. But it was there. "What is this?" the doctor asked. Lura didn't answer. She looked at her daughter through the glass window. Nia was sitting on the floor, making small shapes with tiny bolts and screws. "Remove the chip," the commander said. The doctor hesitated. "If we do that, it might hurt her. Do it carefully." The chip was removed. They placed it on the scanner, and the base lights dimmed for 2 seconds. The chip pulsed. Then it spoke. A robotic, broken voice came through the speakers. "This is Lura of Haven Project. If you found this, it means I've failed." The soldiers froze. "They built us to bring peace," the message continued. "Then they changed their minds. They turned us into targets. And now they fear what they don't understand." The message paused. Then one final line. "The weapon is what remains in fear." Then silence. "What does that mean?" Sam asked. Commander Harris stood still. His hands were tight fists. "Project Haven was erased years ago," he said, "before most of you joined. It was meant to create a peaceful link between species. But they canceled it," Lane said. "Why?" "Because the children started showing powers," Harris replied. "And power scares people in charge." Back in the holding room, Nia's hands moved gently over the metal floor. She wasn't playing. She was building something. A small shape, like a star, or a compass. Lura walked in and knelt beside her. "They found the chip," she said softly. Nia nodded. "They'll be afraid now," Lura added. "They already were," Nia whispered. Then she looked up at the camera again. Later that night, alarms blared. Not from inside the base. From the outer radar tower. 3 unknown signals. Fast. Silent. Coming from the north. Drones. Enemy drones. But they weren't attacking. They were circling the base. Watching. Then, one by one, the drones powered down midair and crashed into the snow. No blast. No warning. Just dead machines. Sam looked at the radar, confused. What just happened? Nia, in her room, was still sitting. Her eyes were closed, and the metal shape she built was now floating just above her palm. The commander entered the holding room. He looked at Lura. "This isn't a request anymore," he said. "You need to tell me everything." Lura took a deep breath. "My daughter isn't a weapon. She's a mirror." "A mirror of what?" "Of whatever world you give her. If you give her war, she'll become fire. If you give her peace, she'll grow flowers." "Then why are drones falling from the sky?" "Because they came with fear," Lura said. And she reflected it back. Nia opened her eyes. She looked at the commander. "I didn't break them," she said softly. "They broke themselves. When they saw me." He stared at her. "What are you really?" Nia pointed at the floating metal symbol. "I'm a message." Then she pointed outside the window, where the broken drones lay in the snow. "And this is my answer." The snow finally stopped, but silence did not return. Outside the base, 3 enemy drones lay in pieces. No weapons were fired. No shields were used. They just fell. Commander Harris looked at the wreckage on the screen. The machines were dead, but not broken by force. Something turned them off, Lane whispered. Or scared them, Sam added. Inside the holding room, Nia was asleep. Her tiny hands still held the floating symbol she had built from scrap. Pulsed like a heartbeat, slow and soft. Lura, her mother, sat near the door, watching the shadows. She didn't trust the silence. That night it began. The wind returned, but it was not the same. It howled like a scream. The radar towers buzzed. Lights flickered. Then the main gate camera cut to black. Visual lost, a soldier said. Check the backup feed, Harris ordered. But the backup feed was worse. The drone wreckage was gone. Vanished. No sound. No movement. Only the shape of 3 empty holes in the snow. Alarms blared. Soldiers rushed to the gates. Sam and Lane suited up and took rifles. The cold air bit their faces as the door slid open. They stepped into the night. Nothing. No sound. No lights. Just stars above and white ground below. Until, crunch. A sound behind them. Sam turned. One of the drones was standing up. Not flying. Standing. Its shape had changed. Its arms were longer. Its head bent backward, twitching like a broken puppet. What the? Sam raised his rifle. But the drone didn't move. It just stared. And then it spoke. Not in words. In sound. A sharp, high-pitched scream that pierced through helmets, metal, and bone. Back inside, Nia sat up in bed instantly, her eyes wide. No, she whispered. It's waking them. Lura rushed to her. What is it? The dead ones. They were just sleeping. Something found them. In the control room, the scream hit the speakers. Soldiers covered their ears. Screens went white. One screen cracked. Lane hit the kill switch. The sound stopped. Sam's voice came through the radio. Sir, these things are changing. They're not drones anymore. Inside the lab, tech systems blinked on by themselves. A robotic arm moved. Printer activated. Old files began to delete automatically. Project Haven. Gone from all digital records. But one file stayed. It was locked. Then it opened by itself. Just one sentence. You buried the future. Now it's climbing out. Back in the base hallway, the power flickered. And then total blackout. Darkness. Emergency lights switched on. Red, dim, slow. Nia stood in the hallway now, holding her symbol. A soldier spotted her. Get back to your room, he shouted. But Nia just whispered. They're not here to fight. They're here to copy. What? She pointed to the wall. Just then, it cracked open. A mechanical arm reached out. Not human. Not drone. Something else. It looked like a hybrid metal fused with organic tissue. Contact in the hall, the soldier screamed. But the machine didn't attack. It just scanned Nia. Her symbol began to glow faster. Commander Harris arrived with 2 guards. What is that thing? Nia answered without fear. It's one of us, but broken. You mean, like you? No, she said softly. Like what they wanted me to become. The machine turned to the wall and printed a single word in heat-burned letters. Fear. Then it powered down. Suddenly, every system came back online. Lights, screens, power. The machine was dead again. Harris turned to Lura. What is going on? Lura spoke slowly. When they ended the Haven project, some children didn't survive. Their bodies were taken, modified, stored as backups. Backups for what? For war, she said. Your war. Nia looked at the machine's remains. They woke up tonight, because I woke up, and they followed me here. Silence again. The commander gave the order. Seal all gates. Arm every post. And no one goes near that girl without my permission. Sam looked at Nia, who stared back without blinking. She's not the danger, he said quietly. She's the signal. The machines stopped moving. The alarms were quiet, but no one in the human base felt safe. Nia sat alone in a quiet room, her back to the door, her eyes closed. In her hands floated a small metal shape, a symbol she built from junk parts. It spun slowly in the air, without touching her skin. It shouldn't be possible. But it was happening, right there inside a steel room under bright human lights. And the soldiers were watching. Commander Harris stood behind the one-way glass. He had seen many strange things in his career, alien tech, broken mines, battlefield miracles. But never this. She's not using wires. Not tools. Nothing, whispered Tech Officer Lane. She's using something we don't measure, Harris said. Like a brainwave? No. Like memory. In the corner of the room, Private Sam watched Nia silently. Then he asked her, "Where did you learn that?" Nia opened her eyes. "I didn't learn it," she said softly. "I remembered it." "From where?" "From before I was born." Later, Sam gave her an old service droid, broken for years, covered in dust. "This one's dead," he said. Nia walked toward it. She didn't touch it. She just looked at it, then knelt down. She placed the spinning symbol near its chest. Then she whispered, not in words, just sound low and soft, a vibration, click, whir. The droid's eyes lit up, blue, alive. It stood up slowly, calmly, like waking from a long dream. Every soldier stepped back. "Don't move. It's alive. Turn it off." But the droid raised both hands peacefully. Then it spoke. "She brought me back. Not with fear. Not with code. With connection." Nia smiled gently. "He remembers," she said. "Remembers what?" Harris asked. "That he's not just a machine." Later that evening, Lura and Nia sat in the cafeteria, away from weapons and wires. Lura placed her hand on her daughter's head. "You shouldn't use your gift here," she said. "But they needed help," Nia replied. "You're not a tool." "I know, but they think I am." Meanwhile, Lane pulled old records from the Haven files, the few that had survived deletion. One showed a test result. Subject H7. Full machine empathy. A note in red. Too dangerous. May reject command. Terminate. She looked at the photo of subject H7. Same eyes. Same glow. Same calm face. It was Nia. That night, the floating symbol that Nia made changed shape. It folded inward, became sharper. More like a key than a decoration. Lura noticed. "What's happening?" "It's opening," Nia said. "Something under the base. Something old. Alive." "Yes, but trapped." "Do we need to go?" "No. We need to listen." The commander was asleep in his chair when the dream began. He saw fire. Cities in space falling. Then he saw a girl, standing at the edge of a ruined world, her eyes glowing. She didn't destroy it. She was trying to hold it together. Then he woke up. An alert flashed on the screen. Bunker Level 7, sealed for decades, was now open. No one had touched it. But the door was open. Sam and Lane went down with a team. The air was thick, old, heavy with dust and silence. Inside the bunker was a nursery. Beds, blankets, small toys, and drawings on the wall drawn by children, not human. Lane found one picture. It showed a girl holding a glowing star. Around her were people, afraid. But behind her, something bigger. A hand. A machine. A message. She speaks for the silence. Back at the surface, Nia whispered to her mother. "They left us here to be forgotten. But we're not forgotten anymore." "No," Nia said. "Now they remember. And remembering is power." The base systems lit up again, not with an attack, but with a signal. A soft, slow signal from deep space, calling back. Nia looked up at the stars. "They heard me." "Who?" Lura asked. "My brothers. My sisters. The others like me." Commander Harris stared at the signal data. "They're coming." Sam nodded. "Should we be scared?" Nia stood at the doorway. She didn't smile. She didn't cry. She simply said, "No. Not if you choose something better than fear." The stars above planet V9 were quiet. But down below, truth was waking up. Not in fire. Not in battle. In memory. And memory has its own kind of war. Inside the underground bunker, Sam moved slowly. His boots stepped over faded toys, rusted child-sized chairs, and a cracked wall filled with symbols, drawings, tiny handprints, a child's name written over and over again. Nia. He didn't speak. He just stared. Lane was behind him, scanning the air. "There's no radiation," she whispered. "No traps. No weapons. Just silence." Then she paused, and she pointed. At the far end of the room, a large metal door had been sealed shut, until now. It was open. Behind it was a chamber, and inside, a machine sat on a raised platform. Not large, not threatening, but it was watching. Back on the surface, Commander Harris stood face to face with Lura. "Tell me everything," he said. She looked tired, like a person digging up her own grave. "We came here years ago," she said, "before Nia was born. We came because we were invited." "By who?" "By your people." She paused. "They called it Project Haven. They said they wanted peace. They said they wanted to learn. They said they wanted to build something better. And they didn't? They did, until they saw what we made." Below, Sam touched the smooth surface of the machine. Suddenly, it lit up. Soft blue glow. A recording played. A woman's voice. "Human. Project Haven Phase 3 log. Date. Classified. Subject H7 shows increasing sensitivity to neural fields. Can detect emotion through frequency. Can rewrite basic drone code with thought. Then, we cannot control her. Termination order has been suggested." Lura continued, her voice quiet. "We didn't build weapons. We built bridges. Children who could understand both flesh and machine. Both war and peace." Harris interrupted. "Why didn't we know this?" "Because your leaders erased it. They didn't just end the program. They buried it. They locked us in. And they sent drones to clean the failure." "Failure?" Lura looked him in the eyes. "They called our children a failure because they couldn't be controlled." In the bunker, Sam found something else. A small notebook, handwritten in alien script, mixed with human letters. Lane scanned it. These were Nia's first drawings. And her first dreams. "Dreams?" Sam asked. Lane flipped the page. It showed 3 figures, standing alone. One was a girl, the other 2 broken machines. And behind them, a planet on fire. "Was she dreaming the future?" he whispered. "Or remembering another one?" Lane replied. Meanwhile, Nia stood at the edge of the landing pad, under the open sky. She closed her eyes. She spoke without sound. And the signal in deep space answered. 3 words came through the comm system. "Is she safe?" The voice was not human, but it was warm. Nia smiled. "They're coming," she said. Commander Harris received the full decrypted files from Lane, and he finally saw it all. Photos of the original test subjects, secret logs, orders signed by generals who never stood trial. Erase all evidence. Lock down V9. Silence the survivors. His hand trembled. "They didn't just abandon them," he whispered. "They hunted them." He walked out onto the landing pad. Lura and Nia stood there. The wind moved softly around them. "Why didn't you fight back?" Harris asked. Lura answered, "Because we wanted to show you we were more than what you feared. And what if the others come? What if they're not like you?" Nia turned. Her eyes glowed softly. "They're exactly like me." Lane ran out with a new report. "Commander, we've got visual. An incoming craft. No weapons. No escort. Just one ship. It was shaped like nothing human. It moved like it was breathing. And it was landing." Harris looked at Nia. "What happens now?" Nia stepped forward. "Now you choose." "Choose what?" "Whether you meet them as soldiers or as people." Inside the approaching ship were others like her. Children grown older. Wounded. Changed. But alive. They didn't come to destroy. They came to see who remembered them. And if remembering was enough. The alien ship touched the ground without a sound. No engines. No landing gear. Just a soft glow beneath it, like it was floating on light. Soldiers gathered at the edge of the base, weapons ready but hands shaking. None of them had seen anything like this. Not in drills, not in war, not even in dreams. Commander Harris stood in front, alone. Behind him, his people. Before him, the ship that carried the children of Project Haven, the ones humanity tried to erase. He looked at Nia, who stood calmly beside her mother, her tiny metal symbol spinning slowly in her hand. "Are they dangerous?" he asked. Nia's answer was quiet. "They're like mirrors. They'll show you what you bring to them." The ship opened, but no ramp dropped. Instead, a soft energy field formed like a doorway made of memory. And from it, they came. Not soldiers, not monsters, children but older than Nia, teenagers, young adults, changed but alive. Some had strange eyes, some had metal limbs, some walked slowly, like the weight of years was heavy. They didn't speak, they just stood watching the humans, waiting. Private Sam lowered his rifle. Lane stepped forward and took a breath. "They came without armor," she whispered. "They're not here to fight." Then, from the back of the ship, a tall figure stepped forward. Not a child, a machine, but not like the others. It had the shape of a person. Smooth, graceful. Its face was made of shifting light, and in its chest, a soft blue core. It looked at Nia and she walked toward it. They stood only feet apart. Then Nia touched its hand, and it knelt before her. Gasps echoed through the human ranks. The machine spoke, its voice deep, calm, full of sorrow. "I remember you, little one. You were the last hope before they closed the door." Commander Harris stepped forward. "Who are you?" The machine turned. "I was once your creation. Now, I am only a witness." "A witness to what?" "To your choice." The snow began to fall again. Quiet, light, like ash from a dying fire. The commander removed his helmet. "I didn't know what we did to them. But you know now." He looked at Nia. She held out her hand, not in threat, in peace. "Why are you here?" he asked her. Nia answered without fear. "To give you a second chance." Behind her, the other Haven survivors began spreading across the field. Some touched the base walls and the lights turned blue. Some knelt by the broken machines, and they began to hum softly. They weren't attacking. They were healing what was broken. Harris dropped to one knee. Not in weakness, in decision. He turned off his communicator, then his weapon. Then he whispered, "I choose peace." The machine looked up at the sky. "Then your world may live." Days passed. The Haven survivors helped restore systems, repair the broken satellites, and heal parts of the base no human could fix. Nia walked freely now, laughing sometimes, drawing symbols, teaching words from her forgotten language. Children of soldiers played beside her. No one told them to be afraid anymore. But one day, as the ship prepared to leave, Nia stood at the gate. Sam walked up to her. "You're going." Nia nodded. "There are others still sleeping, others still waiting." He looked down. "You saved us, you know?" She smiled. "You remembered us. That's what saved you." Lane gave her a small gift, a locket with a photo of the base team. "In case you forget." Nia opened it, smiled. "I don't forget," she said. "I remember everything." As the ship rose into the sky, Nia stood at the window. Below, the human base grew smaller. But it wasn't just a base anymore. It was proof that the past could be rewritten, that fear could become understanding, that even lost children could find their way home. Inside the command tower, Harris wrote his final report. "They were never weapons. They were warnings, and we almost ignored them. But one small girl, barefoot in the snow, asked for a warm meal and gave us back our future."